the head of the Palestinian mission to the United Kingdom, the de facto Palestinian ambassador to the UK. Thank you very much for joining us here on LBC News. What was your reaction when you heard from the UK government about the suspension of these arms licenses?
That it's a partial step, but in the right direction. It's incomprehensive, but we can build on, and we must build on. Violations of international law are violations of international law. You cannot be selective when it comes to legality. And after the ruling of the International Court of Justice that specifically focused on the role of third party, because the international judicial system has lost hope in Israel heeding any legal, moral calls, and therefore focused on the role of third parties complicit in Israel's genocidal aggression on Gaza and now in the West Bank. And therefore,
Mr. Zomlot, I'll just interrupt there to say that it has not been upheld, the allegations of genocide. That is a claim that you have made, but it has not yet been upheld by any international court.
Simon, don't politicize this, please. This is legal matter. South Africa has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice under the charge of genocide. And the ICJ has officially admitted Israel on trial for plausible genocide. So leave the judges to decide, not you.
Yeah, and I understand that. But what I'm saying, Mr. Zomlot, what I'm saying is that it has not been upheld.
Many other countries have joined South Africa, including Spain, Norway, and many others are now in the ring. So please, and this is what we asked the Foreign Office and the government here to do, the Labour government. We told them, do not politicize this. Stick to the legal arena. We wanted to see the release of the Foreign Office assessment of Israel's violation of international law, which we know is there. It was leaked by senior conservative members of parliament and members of government, that the report has found Israel to be in grave and flagrant violation of the very basic provisions of international law, particularly IHL, international humanitarian law, and therefore the release of such a report would have immediately entailed the full arms embargo on Israel. However, the government has chosen a selective, partial approach, which we have welcomed and we will build on.
We're short of time, so I'm going to move on a bit. Does this make any difference, though? Because we know that this will not harm Israel's security. It will not make a huge impact on Israel's ability to defend itself. So what's the point?
The point is that third parties like the UK, who holds a permanent seat in the UN Security Council, who calls themselves pen holders of international relations, are fulfilling their obligation to uphold legality. That's the point. That's the point. And without British weapons, American weapons, German weapons, international weapons, Israel would not have been able to murder 16,000 children and 41,000 innocent people and maiming 94,000. And by the way, the numbers are completely underestimated because we don't even have any picture of how many have been killed under the rebels, how many have died because of the use of disease and food as a weapon of war, the starvation. And the Foreign Secretary himself said that we have evidence that Israel is preventing the flow of humanitarian aid. Israel is committing grave violations against Palestinian hostages, the prisoners in Israeli prisons. So once you make that conclusion, of course you have to stop sending the very tools that Israel is using in the bare flesh of our children and of our innocent people. So the argument is clear. And because the world, including the UK, has not done so in a systematic way for 76 years, Israel's violation of international law has been chronic for all this long. By the way, the ICJ ruling was not just about the atrocities in Gaza. It was about the ecosystem. The whole thing about Israel's presence in the occupied territory as unlawful, Israel's settlement and expansion is unlawful, and all of them must be dismantled, and third parties must cease any material, military, political, or legal support to Israel until it ceases its illegal practices. So it is absolutely clear, Simon. The problem becomes when governments politicize it and when media, Simon, like you now, is trying to say what effect this is doing. So what effect when the world imposed sanctions on Russia? Tell me. I want you to tell me why the world was and the West was quick to provide the Ukrainian resistance with arms to defend their land and their country when the legality of both situations are bluntly clear. This is a grave situation of simply double standards, selectivity, hypocrisy. Therefore, yesterday's decision was indeed a significant step in the direction of the equal application of international law, and we hope that will bring more measures. This isn't just about arms embargo, and it has got to be full. This is about sanctioning all the illegal settlement and the settler system. This is about recognition of the state of Palestine. This is about making sure that the numerous international resolutions are implemented, not just called for.
Okay. Mr. Zomlot, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Husam Zomlot is head of the Palestinian mission to the United Kingdom, and he joins us live here on LBC News.